Hey, friends, this is Carrie, and welcome back to I Like Reddit channel. Today our stories are out of the Entitled Parents subreddit. Let's begin. Our first post is by Weaver Visley. My EP encounter at a convention. Last year, my husband and I went to a fan convention. Think video games, anime, comics, all in one. For a date. We decided to cosplay as Link and Zelda from Ocarina of Time. In preparation, I bought 2 playable Ocarina of Time replicas. It is important to note here that my husband cannot play his. I got him a cheaper 7-hold ocarina as opposed to my full 12-hold. The first morning of the con, we were walking from our hotel room to the event. It was a few city blocks in full costume and props. On the way, I played a few songs from the game for amusement. A few people told us to enjoy the con. Some complimented our costumes. 3 kids politely asked to take pictures with my husband. Sure, no problem. We had some rupee props and gave 1 each to the kids. Enter entitled parent and entitled kid. EP. My son wants a picture too. Me. Sure, no problem. With both of us or just one? EP. Both. We pose and take the picture. EK. Thank you, Link. Husband. My pleasure. Have fun. Husband hands the kid a toy rupee. EK. Can I play your ocarina? Me. No, I hate germs. EK. No, his. Me. Again. No. EP. Let EK play it. It's not like he's going to. Points to husband. Is. EK reaches for it. Husband holds it out of reach. Husband. The princess said no. EP. Knock it off, you nerd crap, and just let EK have it. You don't need to. Husband and I begin to walk down the street to the con entrance. EK starts wailing and EP is cursing and yelling at us. We didn't see them after that, since you need a badge to enter the con area. We did not let it ruin our trip, but I was fuming for most of the morning. Next story is... Our next post is by Demolition Lady. Entitled Mom leaves her daughter in a cinema alone for 5 hours. Okay, so this happened a few weeks ago, and I just got around to posting it. Sorry for the mistakes, English is not my first language. A little background. I work in a cinema as a controller. I think that's what they're called in English. I check all the auditoriums to see if the movies are playing correctly and that the sound is okay, and so on. If anything happens in the auditorium during the movie, I'm just supposed to call the manager. We have quite a problem with parents not getting that we are a cinema and not a babysitting service. A lot of parents leave their children in the auditorium to watch a movie and come back when the movie is finished. We usually don't mind when people tell us and the children are old enough. The entitled mother didn't tell us and her child was not old enough. So I was going to clean up an auditorium after a showing of Angry Birds, lots of popcorn, lots to do, and a little girl still sitting in her seat. The girl was young, couldn't have been more than 4 years old. Usually when children are alone in a theater like this, the parents are just around the corner, and I assumed hers were too. After waiting a solid 10 minutes, I decided to talk to the little girl. Me. Hey, is there someone here with you? I can help you find them if you want. Little girl. My mom is doing something important. Me. I see. Did she have to call someone? The little girl looks at me with a confused expression. I start to understand a little more of the situation at least. Me. Is your mom here with you? Little girl. No. Me. Do you know where she is? Little girl. Yes. She's doing something important. Me. Was she watching the movie with you? Little girl. No. She told me to stay here and watch the movie and she would meet me here when she's done. Me. I see. Another movie is about to start here, so we have to leave the auditorium, but you can come with me and we can wait for your mother in the cinema foyer. The little girl didn't mind following me downstairs. I told my manager and we decided to wait for half an hour before calling someone since she was so young and perhaps her mother was just in the cinema building. Spoiler, she wasn't. We talked a bit to the girl, but apart from knowing her own name, she didn't know much. She knew her mother's first name, but it was a too common name and we couldn't find her number in the yellow pages without calling about 100 other people. So we called the police. The police showed up, talked to the girl, and decided to take her to the station. We were just told to call them if the mother showed up. Of course, the mom showed up 3 hours later. We knew it was her because all we could hear was screaming from the kiosk. My manager and I ran there, of course, and saw this woman so red in the face, it looked like she was about to burst. We explained the situation to her and told her to contact the police. She just snapped. She started screaming that she had only been away for an hour and that the cinema had kidnapped her baby. We called the police when she started throwing things and spitting at us. Edit. Since a lot of people asked, I don't know what happened to the girl. CPS in my country is really good, and I believe the mother's actions had consequences. The girl went quietly with the police and seemed almost used to the situation, something that really scares me. And the mother had to be dragged out kicking and screaming. I do know that the cinema is taking things further because of the damage to the kiosk and the assault on the employees. I really hope that CPS took this little girl away from this woman, because this little girl does not deserve that. No child deserves to be treated that way. I mean, this is negligence through and through, and I really hope that the mother was charged with child abandonment at the very least. Anyway, on to the next story. Our next story is by Red Planet, entitled Mother Left Her Kids in My Cafe While She Got Botox Next Door. I work in a popular cafe in a very wealthy area of town that is next door to a medical spa that does things like lip injections and Botox. 2 children walked into the store unattended. I thought their parents must be somewhere inside or still in the car. Maybe they were being dropped off to meet a tutor. I wasn't sure. There was a boy who was about 8 and there was a girl who was about 5. It became very apparent that their mom and dad were not in the cafe, as they began running around the lobby area together, dragging the chairs across the floor, knocking items off displays, and digging their hands into the sweetener at the condiment bar, etc. Eventually, the pair came up and sat at one of 3 bar stools at the end of my bar as I was making drinks. They started asking me for hot chocolate. I told them that if their mommy or daddy bought them hot chocolate, then I would be happy to make them one. As if on cue, the little girl starts screeching at the top of her lungs, and the little boy began pounding his hand on the countertop and yelling that his mom promised them a hot chocolate and I had to make them one because she told them that I would. The little girl started crying and trying to stand on the bar stools. I told her to sit down before she hurts herself. I asked who they were with, and the boy said his mother brought them. I asked where she was, and they told me they didn't know. I told them to sit down and sent my coworker to ask around to see if they could find their mother. I continued making drinks, and the boy kept shouting at me and demanding hot chocolates. His sister was blubbering, crying mess who alternated between sobbing hiccups and flat-out screaming. This woman, who was waiting for her drink, told the kids to be quiet and asked where their mom was. The little girl said something like, "Getting her face done," and the other woman said, "I'll be right back." The woman straight up marched into the Medi-Spa, and according to an employee I know there, apparently chewed the mother out and berated her in the middle of her appointment for leaving her kids in the cafe. The EM put up a fight about it, so the customer came back into the store and called the police in front of me. Meanwhile, both kids are standing on the bar stools screaming about hot chocolate. Even if they weren't brats and I felt like giving them hot chocolate for free, I can't do that without their parents present. The police showed up just in time to see the 8-year-old boy fall off the bar stool and bust his lip open. One officer went next door and forced the mother out mid-appointment and brought her into the cafe, and she immediately started screaming at the first woman for calling the police, and then at me and my coworker for letting her son get hurt. The second officer went off on the entitled mother, who she said felt like she was in the right because I wouldn't be gone long and didn't leave them unattended. There are employees here to watch them. Lady, I'm not getting paid to watch your kids. I'm getting paid to serve coffee. The little girl kept screaming about hot chocolate, and the mother was like, "Wait, you didn't give them hot cocoa?" And I was like, no, you have to pay for that. I can't just give kids drinks without parents' permission. What if one of them had an allergy or was diabetic or something? She started screaming about how we shouldn't have to pay because they're children and we should have just been nice. The officer eventually made her stop and took her outside. I saw them writing something out, but I don't know if it was a ticket. I'm not sure what happened after that because I decided to take my lunch break and went out the back door to avoid her. Wow, Karen now thinks that cafes are free babysitters. Who knew? Well, I really hope the police did write her a ticket because that really is negligent. I mean, the cafe workers aren't required to watch your kids. That's not how it works. And, anything could happen. I mean, I know I keep going on about the whole anything could happen, but how often do you hear about kids getting snatched and stuff? And nobody would know. And she would, come back hours later. "Oh, where are my kids?" Well, you weren't watching them. Anyway, I'd also like to apologize. My dog's asleep in here, so it might come up on the recording. Anyway, on to our final story. Our final story is posted by MNun44. Actual Karen upset I dyed my hair. Longtime lurker, mobile, apologies, etc. When I was about 15, I attended a very religious Baptist school. It was crazy. On to the story. So I was 15 and I really wanted to dye my hair. My mother always had, and I was excited about trying something other than the dishwater brown I had. I begged and begged and begged. My mother finally said okay, as long as it was semi-permanent. I desperately wanted red, so off to Walmart we went. We found foam mousse that said it lasted 2 weeks. Box says auburn? Sweet, a natural color. Handbook says no dyeing your hair on natural colors, 'cause God. So we dyed my hair, and when it comes out red, I mean really red, like fire hydrant, Little Mermaid, cherry popsicle red, but it looked great, really great, and I'm thrilled. But I'm nervous and ask my mom if she thinks it'll be okay, and if I'll get in trouble. She works as a teaching assistant at the school, so she says she doesn't think it'll be a problem, and we head to school the next day. Also on this day, we're doing a volunteer day to stack wood for an old man. Welcome to New England. I get to school, and once inside, the hat comes off. It's a very small school. The entire high school is about 30 people and 5 teachers. Loads of compliments, teachers too, all is well. But not EK. She's got a face like a shrunken sphincter, and she's been glaring at me all morning. I hate this goody two-shoes girl anyway, so I ignore her. Well, EK's mother is a receptionist for the school, and she doesn't like me either. About 11 a.m., I get hauled out of class and into the principal's office. Already humiliated, I'm not sure what's going on. I get there to see EM and the principal glaring at me. EM claims I was bragging to everyone that I didn't have to follow the rules, and knows because EK told her, and I thought I wouldn't get in trouble because my mom works at the school. My mom is a 2nd grade teaching assistant. I'm in high school. Also, I have said nothing to anyone. I've never been in trouble. I'm a straight-A student, teachers love me, and I'm a huge nerd. Principal decides Karen, actual name, is definitely telling the truth. They say I don't reflect godly values with my sinner hair, and I'm not allowed to go help stack an old man's firewood because I don't represent Christ with my sinner hair. I leave the office sobbing, and my old teacher catches up to me and asks me what the heck is going on. I sob/explain and then head to an empty room I meant to sit alone in for the whole afternoon while all my friends go off together to volunteer. On my way, I pass EK and EM talking. EK smirks at me, but the old teacher has plans. Legit best woman ever. She goes to find my mom, knowing this whole thing is BS. My mom loses her mind. The room I'm in is next to the principal's office, shares a wall. I can hear her yelling. She goes up one side and down the other side, saying she doesn't know what EM's problem is, but if they had half a brain, they'd know that Karen likes to stir up trouble, and I'm a legit 15-year-old who has zero history of causing trouble. 5 minutes later, the principal and a fuming Karen are in my classroom/prison to say that while they don't think my hair is Christ-like, I will need to wear a hat the whole time I stack wood, and I can go and volunteer for the day. Screw you, Karen, and your sphincter goblin. Also, I was the best firewood stacker they had. I guess Karen forgot about that thing about bearing false witness against people, but I guess if you're an entitled person like Karen and you don't like somebody, you can lie through your teeth about them, and it's okay. That's all the stories I have for today. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell notification to let you know when I've uploaded new content. Head over to Reddit and drop a upvote for the OPs. Links to the original Reddit posts are in the description box below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.